We're back. And yesterday was a super intense episode for me. It's like one of those moments where you got me, gal. So much legal jargon and so much information. Um, I think I honestly just went a bit overboard, but there's so much that is happening in this space and has happened in this space, and I just wanted to talk about it. So, I'm going to continue because yesterday almost got me off my rocker a bit, but I'm here and we're just going to keep going. And so, first of all, I just want to say there was a time when all I wanted from this space, this crypto space, was to find a token that would 2200x overnight. And honestly, I've been behind the curtain of some of these projects. I've worked with developers and have been on teams that launch projects that pump up really quickly and collapse just as quickly, either lacking in utility or genuine use case. They don't build value, they extract value. Spending hours of my days or even all night or even going sleep, staying up all night, staying up all day, just kind of going hard, um, trying to build hype with these projects, building memes, trying to figure out how to get people excited, and then also trying to figure out when to sell. Because if there's nothing underneath the technology, nothing underneath of substance, then when do you sell, you know? And these are the questions that I was faced up against. And I lost really big on some projects. I won pretty decently on some projects and then lost it all. And it all led me back to this space. And this space of looking for integrity within blockchain, to look for utility, to look for a real world use case. How is this really going to be beneficial in the world? How is this going to help other people? And I continue to ask questions to kind of allow myself to be kind of pushed in the right direction. And so, one of those questions, or a few of those questions, is what if real wealth lives in the boring stuff? And this is really hard for me to kind of sit with because I love excitement. My whole life I've loved excitement. But also, what if the foundation is where the opportunity actually is? And this actual is one of the reasons I'm drawn to XRP. My entire life, a little bit personal, but my entire life, I've had a deep connection to risk and hype. Um, my whole life, I've kind of followed opportunities and career opportunities and friendships that seem sparkly and shiny and would offer many, many opportunities for growth. And even in the crypto sector, like I said, I joined projects at the ground level, and I would spend nights and days building memes and chasing the latest meme token and trying to like pry my way into a circle that had better intel about what the next big project would be. And how I think this mirrored my own life, because I mean, XRP really is like a teacher in some way for me. This has been a journey of nearly 4 years, and it's taught me a lot of patience, but it also allows me to be introspective sometimes. And like even in my own like life, and I kind of touched on it briefly, but like I would follow careers that were really shiny. I worked in Hollywood. I was a bartender in Miami. I did all these big things that gave what looked like the shiny thing or the big thing or gave me a lot of money. I would do them because I thought that was what I wanted, was the shiny and the glitz and the glamour. And after many times of getting what I want and then losing it all, or it not working out to how I expected, or still not being happy, I've come to understand that sometimes the shiny stuff isn't always good. Sometimes the things that go the quickest don't bring the most joy. And a lot of times those things come with a big crash at the end. And I've been through several parts and chapters of my life that have been really beautiful, but also have led to like really dark moments for me. And so this is what pushes me, I think, not only just in my life, but also in this crypto sphere, to like find something of utility, of value, and really dive in and understand it. And I used to associate movement with meaning. If something was pumping, it was working. But as I said, this logic hasn't held up for me. Not in money, not in my healing, not in relationships. Sometimes the places that have no visual trace of movement is where things that are the most transformative actually happen and the most powerful. And this is kind of where I feel like XRP is. And we'll see. And we're going to dig in more today. So, why XRP feels different to me? To be honest, like I said, this has been like a 3, 4 year journey, somewhere in between there. And it has been frustratingly slow, often flat, rarely any hype, especially for a few years. The only kind of hype I would get or motivation was from other YouTubers who would make videos constantly and talk about the potential of what could happen or would happen if if XRP got regulatory clarity or if they were able to announce their partnerships. And slowly, we're starting to see this actually happen in the real world, where partnerships are being identified, where regulatory clarity is being given, and XRP has been wrapped in not has been, but it is wrapped in legal complexities, regulatory terms, as yesterday you may see, and financial infrastructure. And this is such a foreign world to me. It's not something I'm familiar with. But this world that I'm noticing, it's dense, it's boring, it's slow, and it's almost painful to talk about. And the reason I think it is this way is because these systems need clarity, they need understanding, they need clear roadmaps before you can kind of put all of these like old systems into this new technology. Um, and so this is why I'm holding, because I kind of believe in this slow, boring process. And for some reason, I've been blessed with patience on my journey with XRP, and I've had a lot of patience to sit here and to really understand and believe in what's happening. Um, excuse me, but um, sorry, I got a little lost. I'm not going to edit it, so we're just going to keep rolling. But all the while the legal kind of things have been playing out, while we have been what felt like frozen to identify partnerships or connections with XRP and legacy systems, um, has XRP been sitting still or have they been building? And as we've been talking about in many videos, we have the RLUSD, which is the stablecoin that is on the XRPL ledger. This is the one-to-one backed stablecoin by the US dollar, fully backed in cash reserves that are audited monthly, which also we know in the Genius Act that was just passed, that one of the qualifications for a stablecoin in the Genius Act is that it must have up-to-date monthly audits. So XRP automatically meets this expectation. Um, the RLUSD offers stable digital payments for those that want to avoid the volatility of cryptocurrencies. It offers transaction settlements in 3 to 5 seconds, finality completely done, interoperability with Ethereum network, which I think is huge, and it offers financial institutions a compliant infrastructure to transfer digital money. And I think this is like such a huge thing to like highlight and highlight again. If compliance is necessary, and if these legacy systems can connect with and partner with a blockchain that already has regulatory clarity and certainty, it's much easier than building something from the ground up. We also talked about the CBDCs, pilot programs that are around the world, in Palu, Colombia, Brazil, Hong Kong. These are just of today. Again, Ripple's not just staying still. They're working on things while all this is happening. And something else that Ripple and XRP have built and launched is the EVM compatible sidechain. And this sounds already so technically jargon, but I'm going to try and break it down. Basically, it's a separate blockchain that is built to run Ethereum compatible smart contracts, but it connects to the XRP ledger. And EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine, which is the program environment used by Ethereum. So this allows developers to build apps using Solidity, which is Ethereum's smart contract language, while still interacting with the XRP token and the XRPL ecosystem. So this brings Ethereum smart contracts and power to the speed and efficiency of the XRPL ledger or the XRP ledger. And this allows developers to use tools that they already know and understand while also bridging XRP into the largest smart contract ecosystem in the world. And since this is a side chain and it's not actually built in the ledger, it doesn't clog up or slow down the XRP ledger, while the side chain can also handle really complex logic and execution. So we're linking into like Ethereum, which is really, really cool, which we've seen Ethereum explode and do really well. But this gives an opportunity again for developers not to have to learn a new language in order to build and interact with XRP. Smart contracts have also been built through hooks in Evernode on XRP Ledger. And what hooks are is basically an event triggered transaction. So, for instance, something like block payments over $10,000 automatically happens within a transaction, or auto reject payments on Sundays automatically happens. It doesn't have to be done for every transaction. You can like set it into the system and it automatically sets it. Evernode is a layer two smart contract platform of decentralized network of nodes that execute contracts off chain but settle on chain. And all this sounds really sticky and heavy. And so I understand, and we're going to go more into this later. But basically, you have validators and hosts that are competing to verify contracts and run them on a separate chain that can be used on chain to settle transactions. So it's like little mini workers, like doing work, like in the back office or in the office, still visible and traceable, but they're doing all their work separately, and then they bring their work once it's ready onto the chain so it can be verified and move forward to help process transactions. And then we also have AMAs and real world liquidity corridors that are being opened. And all this sounds really dense, and we will dive more into AMMs and real world liquidity corridors. But basically, with the old system that we're currently using, if someone wants to move money from Mexico to Japan, you have to use three different banks. You have to wait 2 to 3 days, and you pay high FX and transfer fees to move the money. With Ripple, users in Mexico pays in pesos. The pesos are converted to XRP on a local exchange. XRP is instantly sent across the XRP ledger, and the XRP is converted into yen in Japan, and the receiver gets the yen within seconds. All this happens within the liquidity built into it. So XRP literally becomes a bridge between all currencies. This is huge. It's really, really huge. Also, we talked about global licenses. We talked about the UAE, Ireland, New York, Switzerland, even where XRP is being licensed and being able to use. So XRP has not been shouting or pushing hype. They've just been building. And I'm starting to understand that the loudest project isn't always the one that's standing 5 years from now. This is why I think infrastructure is super important. Uh, Again, as I said, XRP has been a great teacher for me. in many ways, and it has me thinking, because I would say like the last few years have been like definitely like a healing moment for me. And I feel like infrastructure is like healing. It's invisible until it's needed. And healing, like I said, I just like I've seen my life kind of go into this like quiet space to kind of isolate a bit, but it's been very nurturing and good for me. But healing is boring. It's quiet. It takes daily effort. Sometimes it feels like nothing is happening. Sometimes it feels like I'm moving even backwards. And how I know that healing is working is that I don't notice my nervous system getting stronger every day, but I notice in times of struggle or times when I'm triggered that I'm not activated as quickly and I can learn how to navigate situations. I feel like, and this might be a stretch, but I feel like blockchain infrastructure is the same. XRP is not sexy. I'm not even going to say that it may be sexy, but it's not sexy. It's boring. It's slow. Not slow, it's actually fast, but the process is slow. And um, like I said, XRP is not sexy. Um, but I think XRP will be the thing that stays here when all the flashy stuff, all the dog with cat tokens have pulled all the liquidity available out of the markets. We're going to need something that actually works, that connects us, that offers interoperability. So, what it's been like to hold XRP for the past few years, especially before I would say the past 6 months and early, like 6 months ago and before that, talking about cryptocurrency or XRP to other people was kind of like telling people I was in some kind of secret cult that did something really weird. The look of kind of pain and suffering and agony and almost like sorrow that they would look at me with. The notions of I better pull my money out before I lose it all. Talking about something that I can feel people completely disengaged as I talk about this. This has been really, really challenging to sit with, and then to have doubt, and also be tired because the lawsuit that went on for years. I mean, it was hard to hold on to that like north star of like this is gonna happen. It's gonna get clarity. But every day I held on to it because I believe in something with XRP, and this is how I compare with my own journey. You know, some days are really hard. Some days, even today, I don't know if any of this is going to work. I don't know what my next part of my life is going to look like. I don't even know if this is going to lead anywhere, you know? But I do believe in what is here, and I believe that it's a good value to the world, and I believe I'm supposed to talk about it, and we'll see what happens. And so I don't think this is just investing anymore. It's about practice, it's about patience. And every day I choose to learn more about XRP is a day I'm learning more about myself. I'm learning what it means to build slowly, to show up consistently, and not need the high to stay engaged, which is so foreign to me. So, in a space like crypto that is full of noise, um, I think XRP is different. XRP is showing me how to tune into infrastructure, uh, and maybe also into integrity. Not everything that moves fast is meant to last. I want to build something different with my life, and I think that starts with understanding the plumbing of the future, not only for cryptocurrencies, but also myself. Thanks for joining me again. None of this is financial advice. Literally, this is just educational. And thanks for joining me again. And I hope you'll come back tomorrow. And see you later.